Okay, good morning, guys. All the Tesla players, people that bought calls, spreads. I know HK, you must be in. Yash, your spreads are gonna rock at the open. You should be up 300% at least, I believe. And congrats if you caught the Tesla upside, right? We'll go over it shortly. But SPX, just want to certain things. As long as we hold above 4450 as per the options flow, as long as 450 plus is held, 450 plus is held, case to upside remains. All right, and now obviously the upside target that I'm looking at, my first upside target would be, like, given the scenario with Tesla earnings reporting positive, pre-market looks pretty strong, right? The first target that I'm looking at is roughly around 4520. All right, so 4520 on SPX, and then I see, and if you want at 4520, could be a great short scalp for about 10-15 points on on SPX, or even if you catch SPY, which will give you a $1 move down, and whichever strike that you play, that delta could be your profits, right? So 4450, that's all I have for SPX until it's held, case to upside remains. All right, now one level that I do want to pay attention to here is this right here, the 0 gamma level. Oh, beautiful. So 0 gamma happens to be 4520. That's even better. That's even better. So the short scalp conviction just went up even more high now. So at 4520 at 0 gamma is when dealers or people, the market makers, is when they might end up selling some. They start selling here at 0 gamma to see the strength of the market. All right. So 0 gamma is very, very important, because now that we're holding above the volatility trigger. So next, volatility trigger is all the way right here, 4450. I'll just draw that out for you guys. So now that we're holding above the 4450, 0 gamma is next, right? And which happens to be the implied volatility just above it. So 4520, it will be a great shot at a short scalp for SPY, in my opinion. And we can see that above 4520 there is a lot of resistance, so this level will not be easily passed through. All right, if you could go back above 4520, there is a lot of resistance, no doubt. All right, so that's SPX. Let's see what happens. And but for now, the market is holding well. I think this will be great. And if you want to play market to the downside on SPX, personally, I would wait until we take the lows of these last 5 days. All right, we did try on Wednesday, but we held on 18th April, which happens to be, I believe, Monday or Tuesday, I think. Monday, right? So Monday we tried, but we recovered. We just held right there, the morning star candle, which we spoke about in the group, right? So now if you want to play to a downside and you want to, if you're bearish on the market, this is the zone you want to be taken out first to the downside, and then there will be a ton of opportunity to the downside. All right, but right now the market is holding. Let's see what happens, and then we see in the coming days what happens. Tech, same thing. NDX, similar chart, similar pattern, right? Tech yesterday was slightly weaker, obviously, with Netflix and whatnot. Let's see if it adds on to strength today, and then we can get towards roughly the 50 MA. If we can get the NDX above the 50 MA, all right. You can look at the Qs, any tech chart, whatever you follow, accordingly. This is also same, right? I mean, Qs is a proxy to Nasdaq, and so same thing. Tesla, absolute stunner earnings. All right, absolutely stunner. I mean, just amazing, crazy. What they have done, and their growth for the Q1 of this year. I mean, it's amazing. I posted one chart. The growth is just amazing. Most of you guys know the earnings. I won't go into too much details. Right? They beat their earnings per share. They beat their revenue. Is strong. And now the only number that matters is this number. You guys have it from since October. All right, 1040, 1070 zone. All right, from the initial breakout. Can we hold above? If we hold above 1070, like just a hold above 1070 for the coming days, I wouldn't be surprised if we get towards 1200 and then even all-time highs. All right, in this market, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's a possibility. It's the truth, and gotta stick with it. So as long as we hold above 1070, 1200 all-time highs is possible. Right, the first zone obviously that needs to be taken out is right here, right? Is right here. Roughly, which happens to be right here, this zone right here, 1136. And if we can take this out and the market holds, and by any chance we do turn around, this thing can absolutely squeeze towards 1500 sometime this year, just based on their numbers. All right, but at the same time, if we're not able to hold above 1070, right, under 1070, I will also tell you guys this: under 1070, risk to sub 900 remains. All right, risk to below 900 remains. And then not only 900, if we do get to 900, then there's a good chance that you guys might be able to pick up some equity at these levels right here, which is roughly 700, 800 zone. All right, So let's see what happens. But personally, I wouldn't be playing Tesla here, just my own opinion, unless you're in calls or spreads from before, manage them well. What happens today? The 5-minute play that I would like to give you guys, which I think can happen today, is this. If the market holds and the market stays strong, I'll draw it out for you guys. So we're roughly at 1,470, right? For the first 5-10 minutes. Now, if we rip straight up on Tesla today, if we rip straight up, I will not play Tesla, right? And that's just me. You can do what you want to do. I personally will not play Tesla, all right? But if in the first initial 5 minutes, we get a little spike, profit takers come in, we come down, we hold above this zone 1040, we hold above this 1040 zone, and by 10-10-15, right, and by 10-10-15 we come back towards 1070 and we take the high of the day. And as soon as we break the high of the day, a little retest, and the second high of the day, I would probably jump in calls. Is likely going to be an all-day trend day. All right, that's one play that it's a very typical pattern that usually happens on strong earnings. If something like this happens, I will probably buy some Tesla calls once this scenario plays out. All right, I'll scalp it, and those calls, Tesla, we all know how well their premium moves, and it can make a huge move. All right, and then obviously airlines, UAL. American Airlines, I think they're flying pre-market. They did make their comments that they had some record revenues. Their numbers are flying. Finally they're going to be profitable after all the COVID, after everything happened. And now if we just look at the weekly chart on airlines, right, a huge drop in COVID, and we were not able to recover those levels. On the weekly, as long as we can just base above the 50 MA, we can probably see a move up. But again, airlines, there's a lot they need to prove. Even though the numbers are going up, don't forget the cost. Cost is also rising a lot with fuel and everything. All right. So for me, United Airlines, if anything, if you're a long-term investor, I would probably just buy some equity and hold into airlines, right? Just so that you have a little exposure to that circle. But playing option is very tricky here. All right. The stock has not moved from this zone for many months. So don't get tricked by their earnings and their comments. It needs to hold above this zone, and then we also have the 200 MA. And if we can get above these zones, then I would probably take a swing into these plays. But for now, is it discounted? Yes. Once upon a time, the stock was 90 bucks just 2 years ago. It's 50% off. So equity scale in, I'd probably do it. Just a scale in. Or scale in means you buy some here and you think that the stock can still go down where you would average down. All right. So that's what a scale in means. American Airlines also. Same chart. All airlines have a similar chart, right, from the COVID, pre-COVID lows, and now they're just trying. So let's see how far they go, and if they can finally turn things around, and then we can see a nice little uptrend happening, right? And CCL, also keep an eye on it, guys. CCL, Carnival Corporation, same chart as you guys can see. CCL, RCL, all these charts will have a similar pattern, and then they do have a little to prove. So here it's a scale in for me and nothing much. All right. So all these charts is a scale in, they have a similar pattern. All right. So let's see how these play out. Baba, absolutely disgusting. China giving up. For me, this is a major red flag in the market. If these stocks are not able to go up, something has to hit Nasdaq eventually as well, to the American side. It hasn't happened yet. I mean, we only saw a little trailer the last couple of months, but I do think that in the coming months, if I open up an NDX chart just for an example, I could be wrong. But just by many times, it's a human nature to when good things happen, like we feel that okay, like it's not gonna stop, right? Nasdaq, even if it goes, now this is NDX by the way, other Nasdaq, and even if this stock goes back towards, let's say 15,000, even if it goes back to 15K, right? There's a good chance they can take this up, and then sometime in the summer months it can come back down. All right. And this is what's likely going to happen. Let's see. Who knows, if we take out the highs of Jan 2022, then obviously I think there will be another huge squeeze, right? That happens, depends with the market with the time. But currently what I see happening, just from my experience, there's a long way to go. And if I go on a 3-month chart, right, again, we have a little way to go. This is what I want to visit on the quarterly frames, right? This zone right here, which happens to be roughly 12,000. The lows of I think these are February, March lows, right, that we have here. And then once we break these, make a little reversal candle, and then we see. All right. Tech, when it goes down, sometimes you guys need to understand pre-2000, this is what happened, right? We had a nice little squeeze. Let's see what happens here. All right. Because I'm just looking at stocks like PayPal. These are just getting smashed. PayPal, Square. When you guys look at these names, right? When you guys look at these names, this is a huge tell. All right, and the only stocks that are holding right now are stocks like Apple. Apple's holding near highs. These are the majority of majority of, a huge percentage of the indices. Microsoft is holding pretty well, right? Amazon not bad because it's been holding sideways, but again, a lot of selling pressure here. Don't ignore these candles. They always know way ahead of us, right? And let's see if it's able to hold now. Google also, even after announcing split news, Google and Amazon, they showed a lot of weakness. Google just straight up since 2020 from 1,000 to 3,000, right? That's a $2,000 stock increase in over the span of 1 year, right? These are 3-month candles, by the way. These are quarterly candles, right? So 1 year, and for 2 years it was just straight up, right? So it's wise that we visit the low levels. I think the best way to determine the levels that they might visit in the coming months is to draw Fibonacci levels. So remind me in the morning tomorrow. I can go over fibs. If you want to learn fibs, I'll go over some details, why they matter, and how you can place them correctly. All right, a lot of people don't know how to place them correctly. I can teach you and share my opinion on what time frame and how you can do them based on your trades. SPX, last thing that I do want to say, that call buying has been shifting a little bit higher. So they are buying some further calls on SPX, right? Which usually they do it when they think the market might end up going higher also, right? But again, there's still, the flows are still weak. It's not a lot. So even if SPX just does go to 4,600, 4,700, it's good to be bullish. It's good to be bearish, both. Just be careful. Look at the monthly time frames. That's all I will say. That's all I'm going to say. Just look at the monthly time frames, right? Just look at the monthly time frames and just know this. Sometimes people, so just an example right here, right? All I'm telling you is just it's a day-to-day market, right? We had the title also yesterday in post market, I believe. SPY dipped here, but then it did take out the all-time highs, okay? But then after months, it came down, all right? Can something same like happen here? Anything is possible on the chart. We can absolutely rip up here. We can go towards 4,700, and then maybe we break these lows later on, all right? And the only people that will survive in this market, I can promise you guys, even if you make all the money going long here, and I'm just sharing a scenario with you, which I've been through many times in my life, so maybe it will help you guys in the coming months. Even if we do rip up high, let's say you have a 10K account, let's say you have a 10K account, right? You take it to 30K. Well, you know what? Congrats, amazing. Question is, where do you take that 30K next? I've seen people take their 10K to 30K, or like just figures, their accounts went up 200, 500%. But then I also saw them bringing it back to like 2K, right after everything happened. And personally, I'm very transparent with this. I've experienced this many times in my life. Yes, I've experienced this many times in my life in the past. I learned the very, very hard way. So don't be in a rush to get rich overnight in this market. If it was that easy, all these funds would have a huge percentage returns. But even if they get 15-20% a year, they're happy. Now, obviously, as day traders, you should make more, but just saying in overall, right? So make sure your mindset, you always know what you're trading, and be open-minded to both sides. God bless. See you guys back in the chat.